Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody had a really good New Year's. Today's New Year's Day, January 1st. Can't believe it's already 2020. So today I'm going to be taking a quick look at this brand new drone by FQ777. That's actually the brand name. It's kind of an odd name. This is a F8. This is a monster drone. This is a brushless GPS drone that features a 2-axis brushless gimbal. As far as I know, this is the cheapest brushless GPS drone with a brushless gimbal that you can buy at around $140, $150 for this drone. It's a big 3S battery. One thing I want to show you guys real quick, and hopefully it shows up my head cam here, is I've got this case it comes with. It's got, I'll stand back a bit because I'm afraid I'm not going to get this in my head cam. But it comes with this really nice case, and whenever I do my full review of this, I'll go over all the stuff with this nice carrying case that it does come with. But back to the drone itself, today I'm going to do some initial flight impressions, because even though it's winter time, you know, it's tough to find a good day to fly. Today's a nice day, though it is awfully breezy. So I'm thinking with brushless motors, this thing should still do a pretty good job in these conditions, but it's tough to get up and get a full review done in the winter time. So I'm going to do kind of like I did with the Eachine EX4. I'm going to take this up and we'll fly it around, get some initial flight impressions. How does it fly? How's the onboard video look? And then I'll come back here shortly, and you know, as soon as I can, and we'll do a full review of this drone. So it is foldable, as you guys can see, and it's got an SD card slot here for the camera, so that's good. It means all the footage is going to be saved locally. You don't have to worry about any Wi-Fi recordings or breakup. Here is the camera. It is a wide angle lens, so you're going to have fisheye, unfortunately, but some people aren't bothered by that. We'll have to see how it does. You know, the few reviews I've seen, there's not many on this, but I know David over at Perth West Isles RC already reviewed it, and there is some jello wobble in there, which you do see at these price points. It's kind of unfortunate. Most likely that could vary from drone to drone depending on how balanced these propellers are. And then of course some of that's going to be how well the dampening is on the gimbal. You could also get jello wobble when you get oscillations if the gimbal is just not tuned well. You know, these things actually have PIDs like your flight controller does to keep them stable, and if they're not stable, that can also cause oscillations and introduce jello of its own. So that's always a possibility as well. Now it does also have optical flow, and that's going to be more for indoor flying. I don't know if it will aid the outdoor. You know, some of these will aid the GPS to hold a better position. This is more advertised as being an indoor feature, because you can actually turn the GPS off on this drone, and then it's just for indoor flying, where we'll just use the optical flow camera here to look at the ground and hold position. So that makes it safer to fly indoors. You know, if you fly into a house or something, then you know it's going to use that in case it would drop out the GPS lock on this. So you do, you know, it tells you to unfold the front arms first, so you fold these out, and then the rear arms do the down and swing out motion, and then you have these little landing feet that you pop out. So this is sort of similar to the Eachine EX4 or the JGR CX12 C-Fly Faith that I reviewed recently. Except that had a 3-axis gimbal, and this one has the 2-axis. Has a big 3S LiPo here in the back, and it's not, here we go. It does, and I'll go over listen to 4 but it's a really slow charge using that balanced charge, unfortunately. But it's a big 2500 milliamp 3S LiPo. It's supposed to get up to 27 minutes flight time, which of course I don't believe it's going to get that much. And there's your power button there on the bottom of this. So what I'm going to do is we'll just take it up and we'll fly it, maybe do return home accuracy while we're having air, and of course see how the onboard camera looks. I'm not going to mess with the screen recording, because you know we'll do that in the full review. I'm just going to use my head cam footage, and we'll also get the onboard footage. You guys can check that out. And the camera, I don't think I mentioned, it's a 2.5K camera. I don't know the frame rate. I'm sure it's going to be under 30 max, I would think. And that's a decent resolution, but again, it is fisheye. So you're going to have a big, you know, wide angle on that lens. It can do 4K photos, but that's just going to be like basically like a screen grab of the video, and then your software and the phone's going to interpolate or upscale that to 4K. So even though it does advertise 4K, it does not take 4K video, just 2.5K, which is still higher than any other drone I'm aware of. Most of them do just 2K. And this one I said does 2.5K. So I'm going to stop the video, we'll take it out here, and we'll take it up. Another thing to keep in mind is this is a Wi-Fi, but it's a 5G, so it's 802.11.AC. So make sure your phone does have 5G Wi-Fi. That's a faster transmission, so it's going to provide you with, you know, a better throughput to your device. So it should have better FPV, and there's less interference, so that can sometimes also help with this providing better range than 2.4, even though 2.4 actually does have better range typically, but 5 gigahertz doesn't have all that cross interference or so much, you know, 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. All right, that's enough jibber jabbering. Let me stop my head cam. I'll get this thing bound up. We'll do a compass calibration and get this in the air and see how it does. So I'll be right back, guys. Alright guys, so I have the drone fold out here on the tarmac or helipad. To turn this controller on, you have to do a short press and then a long press. And then it should come on. Now it's turned on. It's a little bit goofy. It's sort of like how DJI does with their drones to power them up. You can see we have, you know, it may not show up my camera, but full TX RX battery, full signal strength. Now this time I'm going to go in here and connect to my to the 5G Wi-Fi. So get into your connection, and now it tells me it's getting satellites, I believe, over there. And I think this is probably it right there, HX 5G. Press connect, and it's probably going to warn me there's no internet connection here on my phone. It's obtaining an IP address, and it's connected. All right, and then we'll go ahead and go over to the app. The app is called the VS GPS, and that is the app. Let's go ahead and understand more. I'm not exactly sure if we just click that. Allow, and now we're into it. Yeah, now we got a video feed up here, so that's nice. So pretty easy to get this thing set up and going. Just like I said, make sure you do have 5G internet Wi-Fi capabilities in your phone. These sticks here come inside these handles, so you just stick those in. You can store them in here if you want, but they does fit into the case with those with these attached. So here's your return to land in your headless mode, which you can long press this to turn GPS on and off. Power button, of course, and return to home. And on top we got photo video and our dial back here for our camera, and our speed rates on the left here on the top. So what I'm going to do now is you can do a level calibration with the sticks like this. And that kind of stuck on me there. Let me try it again. I did it too hard. And to get into compass calibration, you're going to do the sticks up like this, and that should put us into compass calibration. Let me try that again. All right, and then what you do here is, it's kind of odd. You do this, it should be blinking, and it is, and you do like a figure 8 motion like this, like 2 to 4 times. And that DD means that the compass calibration is complete. Really simple. Most drones have you do the spinning, you know, vertical and horizontal, and this actually has you do just a figure 8, which is really nice, especially if you're someone like me who has problems with dizziness. And now let's see if the camera tilt here works. Yeah, just checking it there. The gimbal looked a little goofy. It's beeping as I'm doing the adjustments to the gimbal, so that's good. And like I said, that gimbal will do like a calibration when you turn it on too, to level itself and find what's level. So let's go ahead and let's do a long, you don't have to do a long press since you've got a photo and a video. So just press the photo button and it shows it's recording. And then you do, I think it's both sticks out or in. There we go, both sticks in, unlock the motors, and then you can do your auto takeoff here. I think you have to hold it down. Yep. All right. Now I know we are in GPS mode, but it took it just a moment there. It kind of darted out forward, but now it's kind of coming back. Now it is very windy today, so we have to take that into consideration. But boy, it's really trying to find its altitude. Let's take it back up here again. And see, sometimes these drones, you get them in the air and they kind of level themselves out. And you see, it's already getting, look how much better it's done. Let's go ahead, I'm gonna do an auto landing here. Long press, have it land. And what we'll do is, let's just take it, let's see if it lands here. Sometimes I even get a better GPS lock just a few feet off the ground. And what I want to do here is I'm just going to see if it does any better than a second launch. Just because sometimes it just takes the drone a moment to kind of get its bearings. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna press that video button again and stop. And let's press it again and start it. Okay, we're recording the SD card, both sticks down and out it was. Let's do that auto takeoff again and see if it does any better. Hold that, long press that auto takeoff. See if it get any better. It's kind of normal for these lower cost GPS drones to kind of hop like that, see? Let's give it a little throttle. Now there's a very stiff wind from right to left, so keep that in mind that on a calm day this drone's not likely to hop that much. But you can see it is having a bit of trouble maintaining a good solid altitude. I do expect that to improve as we fly it more. Let's turn it around and face me and see if we can lower the gimbal down here a little bit. Turn it towards me and lower it down if I can here. Let's go. We're doing the wrong. Well, come on. All right, there we go. The lag is throwing me off a little bit. There we go. All right, guys, there I'm waving. Now, I'm not noticing a ton of jello wobble, but it's kind of hard to tell with the glare here. So there could be, you know, more than I'm seeing, but I know that in the videos I've seen there is more than you want to see. Like I said, that can vary some because they obviously didn't worry too much about having really balanced props, and you're just going to have some props that are going to be more balanced than others. Now let's go ahead and put the gimbal back up. So to the left brings it up, to the right will lower the gimbal down, and of course because of the Wi-Fi lag you're going to see a little delay. That was throwing me off. So again, no screen recording today, guys. We're just going to take this up and see how it does. Like I said, stability wise so far not as good as I'd hope. I know David, his, if I recall, was pretty darn good at holding position, but I don't think he was flying in this windy of conditions. But brushless motors drone like this should handle it, but you have to figure on a lower price GPS there is going to be less stability. The gimbal on this, of course, should hold, you know, its point, and it's not going to rock a whole bunch, but being lower cost again, the gimbal, we'll have to see how it does. I can see a bit of shake, which is not quite the same as jello wobble. It's actually that gimbal adjusting, and if it's not fast enough to adjust to the wind and the rocking, then you're going to get rocking in the actual video. Now this is also the lowest rate, so I'm going to pump the rate up here in just a moment. So you can see a nice slow yaw, good for filming. Let's go here on the speed and to the right and go up one. Faster yaw. Now we got more pitch. It says there are 3 rates. On a day like today, the highest rate's going to be the best, especially if you want to fly this thing out. This has an advertised transmission range for the controller of about 1 to 1.2 kilometers. But the FPV transmission is only rated at 500, so that's about as far as you're going to get. Let's go ahead and go to the right again and see if that, okay, that should be the highest rate. And the yaw looks like it may be a little quicker, but we should have more pitch. Yeah, that flies pretty good. Like I said, it's a little bobbly. And I know, obviously, like I said, it's like a broken record, but if it weren't so windy, this thing would be a lot better. See, see how it holds position there. Now as I was flying towards me, I was kind of, you know, 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 it seemed like the throttle, the pitch, excuse me, was kind of stuck. And I had to actually give it reverse pitch to stop it. Let's try that again into the wind and let off. Oh, that worked fine. Could have just been an illusion. Let's try that again. Let off the stick. Yeah, that's fine. Now I said, if you saw it during the compass calibration, this left gimbal did stick on me in the upper corner. You see that a lot of these cheaper quality controllers, which of course at this price point you're not going to have a super high quality controller, but it's not like super clunky. I mean, it has a decent feel to it. The drone itself is actually, I wouldn't say it's heavy, but it does, that battery is pretty heavy, that big 3S battery. When you take it out, the drone's remarkably light, and it does feel a bit, the plastics on this drone are a little bit cheaper quality compared to like the eSheen. But when the battery's in the drone, feels, you know, a lot more solid. Now, let's take it up here. Let's fly it out a little. I'm not going to take it out very far today, especially in this wind. And like I said, I can see some bobbling here in the gimbal. But I got good transmission. I've got some sort of a message here in Chinese. I'm going to take it up higher here. I try to turn it. I'm getting some Wi-Fi breakup here. Let's go ahead and turn the yaw here back at me. Yeah, looks like now I'm looking that way. Now let's turn it now. All right, now I can bring it forward. I'm not out very far. I was out 150 meters there, and I was getting Wi-Fi breakout. Now I'm not up very high, I'm only up 30 meters. Here we can hear it coming back. It was fine. It wasn't doing anything crazy out there. I just wasn't getting good Wi-Fi transmission. It wasn't lost. It wasn't frozen completely, but it was freezing at times. Yeah, overall, this doesn't fly too bad. I mean, it's not perfect, but it also, like I've said a million times, is very, very windy. So on a calmer day, and in the winter time, to get decent weather here where I live, you're gonna have windiness if it's gonna be warm. It's just, you just can't get warm weather and calm winds in the winter time here. So something to keep in mind. We've got over 7 minutes of video there, and plus I had about a minute before that when we did that first takeoff. Let's take it off here out in front of me, and I'm just gonna take it out of the ways, and we'll do return to home accuracy, and that'll end this initial flight impression. Which, like I said, so far it's not terrible. It's a little bit sketchy in the wind. It's bobbling a lot. The Wi-Fi range there it wasn't up very high, of course. It was, what I say, 30 meters wasn't 20-30 meters wasn't was breaking out more than I like. But one thing I always do on these drones is consider the price. At $140, I don't, you know, it'd be great if this drone had a rock steady gimbal and rock steady position hold and great Wi-Fi range, but at that price point, it's gonna be tough to get that because the technology to do that requires more expensive parts. But overall, I mean, it's not like the thing flies bad. It's just like I said, these windy conditions are really messing with us. So let's do a long press. That's actually landing. Oops, I almost did an auto land. Let's do a return to home. Long press on return to home. And that should, let's see if, return to home. No, I'm not getting, there we go. Now there is a beginner's mode on this drone as well. And I think I may be in that. I forgot to check that. Let's see if it's going to fly back now. Should. I think it's coming back. Yeah, here it comes. It's a little slow to initiate that. Some of these drones do that. So I don't know what it's set to. Let's see, it's at 26, so it's probably set to do 25 meters on its return to home. But that's a bad thing there. I pressed the the auto land button. Boy, that glare of the sun this time of the year is absolutely terrible, guys, because it's so low on the horizon, the sun, and it's, you know, it's like, I don't know, what time is it here today? Whoa, I dropped my phone. I was gonna say it's around 2 o'clock, I think. Let's put the phone back in there. Oops. There it comes. This phone does not hold my phone very well. Is it gonna come down? I almost want to think from David's video, this is a really slow descender. Well, it's still sitting up at 26, but it's still beeping too. Huh. I got 40% battery on the Craft. Let's see if is it gonna come down? Maybe it's just gonna hover over the, I'm gonna bring it down manually here just by reducing the throttle. I thought this did a return to home, but maybe this, I don't know. I'm just gonna bring it down here with the throttle. These antennas I didn't mention are fake as well, so that's why I have them folded down. But I just bumped the phone and it flew out and I had to catch it, thank goodness. But it doesn't hold my phone well with the case. I just throttled down and that's about where it was, but I could have sworn this drone did an actual return to home, but sometimes you get GPS drones. Let's cancel that. Let's see if it'll cancel. And it just keeps beeping. But now it's going to go back up, almost like I initiated a return to home again. So let's see what that does. So it's going back up now. It's gone up to 26 meters again. And let's see if it tries to land this time, or if it's just going to hover there. Looks like it's just hovering, so I'm going to go ahead and just bring it down here. We're down to 38% battery. I also don't know if I'm getting video still or not. It's possible I may have bumped the video button whenever I was trying to catch my phone. Alright, drone, come on down. It is really a slow descender. Alright, there it landed. Is it going to stop beeping? No. It just keeps beeping. Let's see here if I've got, yeah, it stopped recording. I must have bumped the, so I don't know at what point I stopped recording. Man, is it going to stop beeping? Man, it does not want to stop. There, it finally stopped. Wow, that is really annoying. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that return to home. I also want to try it from the app. So maybe let's just take it over here. I've got the battery recovered a little bit here. Let's take it back over here while we've got everything powered up, and take it back up and see, doing a return to home with the app, see if it does anything differently there, because that was odd. You know, sometimes they do that, but it's pretty rare to have a drone that flies back and just hovers over the return to home spot. Let's also, I want to check in here and see if I can find novice mode. Doesn't look like that is turned on, so I think we are okay. Yeah, that was turned off. Exit the novice mode, yeah. Well, now I'm going to set these all the way up. Have to let me. And then click save. All right, they were up pretty high, so that wasn't affecting anything. Let's go ahead and take it back up. If it'll let me. Well, it's not. There we go. Now it's going to. And go ahead and just give it throttle. I gotta say it's a little flaky for my liking. The drone, it's a little erratic, and This is why I don't like to do these flights without any kind of testing. This would typically be my test flight, you know. I'm recording it for you guys because all these unexpected things happen, and sometimes it's just the drone behaving exactly as it's supposed to, and I'm unprepared for it, and then I freak out. So, you know, I got the foam falling out of my hands here, and the drone didn't land, so I don't know what's up with that. I didn't see a return to home height in here. Oop. So it must just default to like 25 to 30 meters. So I'm going to do a return to home from right over here. I'm out 45 meters. I'm going to do it with the app. You got a landing, a takeoff, and the third one up here is return to home. And now the controller's beeping. I think it's just going to do just like before. It's going to fly over here and it's going to just land. Excuse me, it's going to hover. Now I'm not recording any video here, so at times we may have nothing but my head cam bobbling around. Here it is. It's not toilet bowl at all, so we know we have a good compass calibration. Though it is kind of acting up here a little bit right when I just said that. But it is at 22. It looks like it is slowly descending this time. Yeah. I don't understand, and maybe I was just impatient. So I know in David's video he mentioned how slow it was to descend. I'm certain of that. Now we're at 14, so it's certainly coming down. There's a big hawk over here, guys. See this big hawk flying up? That's cool. That's a big bird. But I don't know why in that return to home the first time it just was stuck up there. It didn't do anything. I don't, you know, the controller's beeping, so I don't think it's anything different. Maybe I was just impatient, but that worked fine. So yes, it does return to home and land, at least when I did it through the app. I can't imagine there's any difference. Let's see, is it stop beeping? What you can do, I think, is you can exit it by pressing in the app, see? So what I would recommend on this drone, if you purchase this drone, use the return to home through the app. Even though I don't know if it's really any different, I didn't have any luck and it was hard to turn it off. But by pressing the app again, you can just kill it out there. And all this long pressing on the button and getting it to go, and then it doesn't want to go. And so yeah, you can see why test flights for a review are important, and you guys are kind of seeing firsthand what would go into a typical test flight. But because of the conditions here and the fact it's going to rain tomorrow and be very windy and then cold, that I'm not going to be able to get this thing up for a full good review as soon as I would like to. But overall, you know, this drone seems to be okay. It's not terrible, but I'm not super impressed with the flying characteristics. It's awfully wobbly. It's a little bit odd on its return to home, as we saw. And I know that on that camera, which, you know, it's not a high quality camera, there's going to be a bobbling, and probably going to be jello too. I couldn't see that in my camera on my phone, but I could see the bobbling, and that the gimbal just isn't reacting fast enough, which again isn't unexpected for this price. But if you just want a GPS drone that's brushless, that's not real expensive, that you can fly up and just take photos, because we didn't even test that. You know, this ought to take pretty decent photos, but they are going to have that fisheye curve to them. But you can do stuff in software to fix that and crop it down, and then you know, level out some of that distortion a little bit. You know, photos would be the strong point, I think, on this drone, because at least in a photo you're not likely to see any kind of jello wobble, you know, blurring jello. Very rarely have I seen that in a photo where it captured the bobble. But so, you know, photo drone, you can take up and do some, you know, reconnaissance and fly around. This drone will be fine for that. But if you want really good stabilized video, it's just not going to probably quite cut it for you. You're better off moving up to something like the Hubsan Xeno for about $100 more. That's going to get you rock solid video compared to this. All right, guys, that wraps up the initial flight impressions for the FQ777 F8 monster drone. Hope you liked this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, leave that question in the comments, and I'll try to answer it to the best of my knowledge. You know, and be sure to subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you know when I do upload new videos. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day.
power of the dark side, 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 side.